An author is kidnapped by a billionaire obsessed with her fictional treasure. Forced into a deadly jungle adventure, she must decipher a mysterious map while fighting to survive the impossible.
I can't see.
Here!
God!
Seriously!
At the start of the movie, we meet Loretta Sage, an author who writes romance and adventure novels. Loretta is very sad and lonely because her husband died 5 years ago. She is still mourning his death and finds little joy in life. Loretta has recently written a book called The Lost City of D. In the next scene, we see Beth, Loretta's publisher, introducing her to Alan Caparison, the man who is the cover model for her book. Alan plays the role of Dash McMahon, the hero of her story. Loretta doesn't like Alan, but Beth insists that Loretta needs to go on a book tour with him to promote the novel. Even though Loretta doesn't want to, she joins Alan for a live show to promote the book. However, the show turns into a disaster.
Can you rip off Dash's shirt?
Of course, yes, can do.
You don't have to do this.
Oh, we have to give the people what they want, yes.
What?
Okay, go.
Everything goes wrong, and Loretta becomes even more annoyed. Beth suggests that Loretta spend some time with Alan so they can get along better. She explains that this will help with the book's success. Loretta becomes frustrated and leaves. As she is leaving the building, two men suddenly grab her and force her into a car. Alan sees them taking her away. In the next scene, we meet Abigail Fairfax, the man who kidnapped Loretta. Abigail is a billionaire, and he believes Loretta's novel is based on a real story. He tells her that she wrote the book using knowledge she got from her late husband, who was an archaeologist. Abigail claims he has found a lost city on an island in the Atlantic Ocean. He also tells Loretta that this city has a hidden treasure, lots of gold. Loretta doesn't believe him, so Abigail shows her a piece of an ancient map and says the city will soon be destroyed by a volcanic eruption. When Loretta still refuses to help him, Abigail takes her to the island by force. Meanwhile, Alan tells Beth about Loretta's kidnapping. To rescue her, they hire a man named Jack. Jack is a former Navy officer who now works for the CIA. Back on the island, Abigail ties Loretta to a chair and places the map in front of her. He orders her to solve it. Meanwhile, Alan arrives on the island and meets Jack.
Is this what the SEAL teams use?
Only a fool chooses a horse by its...
Together, they come up with a rescue plan to free Loretta. However, Alan seems nervous and refuses to help with the plan, saying he's not an expert like Jack. Jack decides to rescue Loretta on his own, but Alan eventually joins him. They both reach Loretta but don't have time to untie her, so they carry her, still tied to the chair. They quickly leave the hut and plant a bomb, which explodes just after they escape. The sound of the explosion alerts Abigail, and he panics when he realizes Loretta and the map are gone. He sends his men to catch them. Jack starts untying Loretta, and the two begin to flirt. Suddenly, one of Abigail's men appears and shoots Jack. Alan quickly grabs Loretta, who is still tied to the chair, and throws her into the car. He starts driving, but he struggles to focus because he keeps wiping Jack's blood off his face. Alan stops the car near a trench and realizes Loretta is no longer inside. He finds her behind the car, safe, and helps her up. Loretta tells Alan they need to leave quickly. Unfortunately, the car falls into the trench before they can use it. Loretta and Alan decide to retrieve Alan's phone and belongings from the car. Abigail's men arrive at the trench, but don't find them. Loretta and Alan climb up from the trench with their belongings. As they climb, Abigail's men spot them and begin chasing them. Loretta and Alan run and reach a waterfall. There, Loretta notices symbols on the wall that match the ones on the map, but she decides to keep this discovery a secret from Alan. Loretta and Alan spend the entire night hiding in a secret spot, far away from Abigail's men. Meanwhile, back home, Beth files a report about Loretta's abduction, but the police barely take her seriously. Frustrated, Beth decides to take matters into her own hands. She hops on a flight and lands on the Atlantic island, determined to help. At dawn, Loretta studies the symbols on the map, trying to make sense of them. Alan joins her and asks about the map. Loretta explains that Abigail gave it to her because he believes it leads to a hidden treasure. She then snaps at Alan, saying he's only concerned about his acting career and wouldn't understand any of this. Hurt by her words, Alan gets defensive and storms off, but their argument is interrupted when Abigail's men attack them. The two narrowly escape, sprinting into a nearby village. In the village, they blend in by changing into local clothes and mingling with the villagers. As the sun sets, the villagers play soft, enchanting music, and Loretta and Alan join in, dancing together under the stars. While swaying to the rhythm, something clicks in Loretta's mind. The music, combined with the symbols from the map, helps her realize that the treasure is hidden in a sinkhole deep in the jungle. Excited, she shares her discovery with Alan. He admits that he noticed a sinkhole on the map earlier. Just as they plan their next move, Abigail and his men ambush them. Abigail seizes Loretta, and despite Alan's best efforts to protect her, he is captured too. Abigail forces them both to lead him to the location of the treasure. They arrive at the site, anticipation building. But instead of finding a crown encrusted with gold and diamonds, they uncover a crown made entirely of red seashells. Loretta, calm and composed, tells Abigail that this is the treasure he's been searching for. She explains that the crown was a symbol of love, gifted to the queen of the lost city, and it holds immense cultural and emotional value. Loretta points to a nearby tomb and explains that the queen and king of the lost city promised to be buried there together. Hearing this, Abigail becomes furious. He shouts about how much money this adventure has cost him and decides to lock Loretta and Alan inside the tomb. He then storms out, only to discover that one of his men has stolen his ship and escaped. Inside the tomb, Loretta and Alan begin apologizing to each other for everything that happened. As they talk, Loretta notices a tool near her hand, likely left behind by one of Abigail's men. Using it, they manage to unlock the tomb and escape. Meanwhile, Beth arrives at the island with the help of a local Coast Guard. She runs into Abigail, who denies seeing Loretta or Alan. Just as Loretta and Alan make it out of the tomb, the volcano erupts, blocking the exit. They find another way out through the sinkhole, which leads them straight to the ocean. There, they meet Beth, who tells them she just rescued a man. Loretta and Alan realize it must be Abigail. As Abigail tries to escape, Beth's men catch him. Loretta and Alan return home safely, and Loretta writes a new novel inspired by their adventure. The book becomes a huge success, and both Loretta and Alan are overjoyed. In the final scene, during a yoga class, Jack surprises them, revealing that he survived the earlier attack. Everyone laughs, and the movie ends on a happy note. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with more exciting movie stories like this one.